Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400, and of course the brown skin human coming back at you with another movie series review intro. My previous movie series review intro, whenever I uploaded to YouTube, for some odd reason, the newest, the Crush 40 upload of Sonic What I'm Made Of, their uploaded version for some odd reason has a copyright on it, and whenever I see, and the copyright is actually not a problem according to YouTube, but if I ever want to set this account up for monetization, it will be a problem. So I'm going to do a remade version using two non-copyrighted songs. Even though this is an intro for movie reviews and rants, the What I'm Made Of will from now on this channel will only be the outro, and I'll use one of the old school non-copyrighted uploads of Sonic What I'm Made Of. The intros will feature the Sonic Heroes theme, which I haven't used in a long time, and of course the iconic We Can that I use a lot now. Everywhere on every other platform, the intros, I will use the old intro. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Hey, it's time for the second and final part of part one, narration, review, and rant on both of the Venom films. This was initially going to be a series of Spider-Man reviews leading up to the Venom film, but I wasn't that excited by Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, so I decided just to review both Venom 2018 and Let There Be Carnage together. Both of these, first off, while I enjoy both of these films suck and are the worst comic book films of all time, and the worst are the worst comic book films of all time, and some of the worst movies of all time. Of all time. And the only reason I like these crappy movies is because number one, they're they're Venom symbiote movies. The Venom, Carnage, Toxin, Riot, and all of the symbiotes. Eddie Brock, Cletus Cassidy, the host, all of the symbiotes. Spidey, Carnage, all of the symbiotes are some of my all-time favorite characters in the Spider-Man mythos. And it's their movie. And not only that, it's a Tom Hardy action, horror, comedy, science fiction, comic book based movie. These are the only reasons I like this film. I didn't think it was possible. These movies were worse than The Amazing Spider-Man Part 1 and 2. I would still rather watch these any day over those crappy movies again. But these movies almost make those movies seem good in comparison. The film, everything was atrocious. I thought the cinematography was atrocious. The CGI was average. Man, looks like something from the late 90s, early to late 2000s, which is what this film reminded me of, the superhero movies of the late 90s, early and late 2000s. And guess what? All of those superhero movies are better than this superhero comic book based film right here. All those movies are better than this film right here. Number two, the acting was mediocre. To terrible, to ranging from mediocre to bland to terrible, with only the voice actor for Venom, being the best in the film, being the greatest in the film. Venom was the MVP of this film. Venom carried this film, and his banter with Hardy was actually good. Tom Hardy, I love Tom Hardy. He's one of the reasons I like this film, because it stars him, Tom Hardy. However, Tom Hardy was severely miscast in this film. Normally, casting British or foreign actors as Americans doesn't really bother me. However, here, Tom Hardy's accent was noticeable, and he was bland and monotone the entire film. Yeah, he was bland and monotone the entire quote-unquote movie. This film, monotone movie. I don't have any favorite scenes, but actually my favorite and best scenes are all of Venom's scenes, and the final fight at the end, which was inconsistent. Venom throughout the film is this mischievous anti-hero doing whatever a Venom can or wants to do. Then at the end, he at the end decides, when Riot takes over all, he can't let Riot destroy the city, and immediately decides he has to take Riot down. Then the worst thing about this film, see, this pisses me off, because if the MCU had this property, the MCU could have done 1,000 times better if they had this property. I've always thought the idea of a Venom film was stupid, going back to the Sam Raimi films. I've always thought the Venom's film was stupid. Comic books had it. The comic books had the foundations, had the build up and the foundations to produce a Venom film. This was a Venom film where Venom hadn't even encountered, Eddie Brock hadn't even encountered Peter Parker's Spider-Man yet. So, what else about this atrocious movie, man? Yeah, Marvel could have done 1,000 times better. Then they first make it seem like this could be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But then they say, no, it's going to be in the Sony universe. Then they say And that's when I said I wasn't watching it. Then they try to, they knowingly made a bad movie. So they first put in Carnage in the post credit scenes to get you hyped to see a crappy sequel. Then they knew this film was bad, so they apologized by connecting this atrocious film to a so-called good film, and that was Miles Morales' Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse, and I hated that movie too, but that was still considered Sony's best effort. So yeah, this film sucked. I like the film, but I agree with every critic who slammed, who bashed, every critic and fan who bashed and hated this film, even though I for one like it for the reasons I just mentioned. And it has its place. It will never be on my top list unless it's top shitty movies list. But it's in my favorites, honorable mentions. It will never be on the list of favorite and best movies. Then you got the sequel, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Let There Be Carnage. Let There Be Carnage. Let There Be Carnage. The trailers look good. The film was mediocre at best. It was bigger, better, and worse in the they gave us more of the good stuff from the first one. More banter between Venom and Hardy. More banter between Venom and Hardy. And I guess Hardy felt more into this one than he was in the first one, but he was still bland and monotone. This one finally got Carnage. Number 2, they finally got Carnage into the film. Number 3, they gave us more action. However, 4, more inconsistent, dumber storyline. Still cheesy, mediocre, bland, craptacular acting from everyone except the symbiotes themselves. 4, inconsistencies and plot holes. 5, it is still a superhero. It is still feels like a late 90s, early to late 2000s superhero movie. 6, the number 6. Number 6. What was lucky number 6? Lucky number 6? Oh yes, last but not least, the worst. Oh yeah, number 6. Screwed up the Carnage. Screwed up and killed off the Carnage character. At the end, after trying to kill Venom for the near part of the film, Carnage tries to gain mercy by saying, Venom, maybe we Clear's Cassie tried to say, Venom, I didn't want to kill you. I just wanted to be your friend. Maybe we can be friends, something like that. And Venom straight up eats his head off and eats his symbiote, killing him and ruining the chances for any sequels featuring this character. When it comes to a symbiote film, all I want is for Spider-Man, Peter Parker to beat Eddie Brock, Venom, fight. Venom gets locked up. Venom escapes jail once. Revenge on Spider-Man. But there's a deadlier symbiote in Carnage, and both Venom and Spider-Man have to team up and face him. That is all I want. That's all I want with a huge, complex story centered around that. That is all I want when it comes to the symbiote movies. And this one right here just ruined it. So yeah, this was part 1. In the second, larger webcam portion, I'm going to give my thoughts. I'm going to review both of these movies again, off camera, webcam, and then give my thoughts on Jared Leto's Morbius film. So with that being said, you don't want to hear the rest of the music, turn the video off right now.
Like a million faces, I recognize them all, and one by one they all become number as they fall. In the face of reason, I can't take no more. One by one they all become like monks on the floor. Is it me you say you're looking for? Let me show you who I am and what I have in store. In store. Hey, yeah! Trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. Simple curiosity. Let me